most Disney princesses, elite in their own right, but how do they stack up against each other? Mulan, the dog that she is going straight to S tier. I love how she isn't afraid to go after what she wants, regardless of what society may think of her. Great message, great film. She's going into S tier. Rapunzel is going to go into A just because she's a bit too gullible for my liking in terms of her mom wanting to obviously go out to get her and stop her from enjoying her life. To me, it was so obvious that's what she was trying to do. And so that's going to be A tier for me. If somebody asks you to define three character traits of Elsa, you would struggle, I feel. She has really cool powers, but not much else, in my opinion. She's going to go D tier for this list. Aurora, I'm going to actually bump her up to C just because of how cool her powers are. She's not that much below average. However, that is where Aurora is going to go into D tier. Maybe from the most boring Disney princess film of them all, Sleeping Beauty, will put you to sleep. Not much else to say. She's going to go D tier. Snow White, B tier, because she's very, very kind to everything. And that is something to be admired regardless of whatever you may think about the film. She's going to go B tier. Snow White, great character. The sister of Elsa is going to go one above. I like Anna's tenacity. She goes out for what she wants at the same time and isn't afraid to kind of let her imperfections show. That is something that I would want my children to emulate, and she's going to go B tier for that reason. Belle comes from a great story in Beauty and the Beast. She is very, very understanding, and at the same time, she feels real just because of her character arc within that film feels gradual and at the same time believable. I think Belle is going to go into B tier. Merida, however, maybe the weakest film of the lot, to be honest with you. I remember that her and her mom kind of had this thing going on in the film when her mom turned into a bear. That was kind of a funny gimmick, but other than her being difficult for me to understand, I don't really go out and actively seek to rewatch her film. Moana is going to go into S tier, quite arguably the best Disney princess. She comes from amazing films, of course, but at the same time, I like how she's like kind while not being a pushover, She's adventurous and has always had a desire to go and explore, similar to the next person that we're going to talk about. But I think Moana's great and easily one of the best Disney princesses. Then we have Pocahontas, the visionary, the navigator extraordinaire. She's going to go into A tier. A bit of a boring film for me, Pocahontas, but at the same time, she, in her own right, is quite cool. So we'll put her in A tier. Ariel the mermaid, the singing mermaid. She's a bit too, I don't know what the exact word I'm looking for. Maybe lightheaded. She is a bit lightheaded to me, but she does know what she wants, and that is admirable. So we'll put that in B tier. Jasmine's next, and Jasmine doesn't talk that much in her film, I feel, but she does stand up to Jafar in the end. If I'm remembering Aladdin correctly, I think she's right in the middle. Honestly, I think Jasmine can go C tier. Personally, just not a ton of character and defining traits of her, so that's why for me, she's going to be in the same tier as Elsa. Tiana, the queen herself, A tier. She goes on a really interesting journey in her film where her character becomes much more mature in knowing that everything isn't always going to be great, but when it is, it works really well. So fun story, and at the same time, one I would want my children again to emulate their character after. Cinderella, the ultimate underdog. If you hear my cat, apologies by the way. He's got a lot of opinions about this as well, as you could tell. But Cinderella is probably right average, I would say, in terms of Disney princesses. Not a ton of personality other than being humble. And while that is a great personality trait to have, I do like my princesses to have a bit more full feeling to their character. And I didn't feel that as much from Cinderella. Where would you change these Disney princesses in my list, and how would you rearrange the order? Oh my goodness, how could I forget the worst of them all, Vanellope von Schweetz? You had to add her manually into this tier list because she wasn't included from the template. I don't like Vanellope whatsoever. Wreck-It Ralph 2 is a disgrace. She was annoying a bit in the first to me, and in the second becomes even more annoying. Oof, I just don't think this is a character who deserves to be in the same category as the others, and that's why she's at the bottom. I mean, the lesson that she learns, the main lesson from the first film, she completely just abandons and then goes against that actually by abandoning her game and going turbo. And to me, it makes no sense logically. So for those reasons, Vanellope is going to go into F tier. But thank you again for watching. Check out the videos. Subscribe. Have a great day.